In this video, we're going to be installing this Cooler Master Hyper 612 Apex to this Intel and AMD motherboard. Check it out. For this Intel motherboard, we're going to be using the Intel Core Ultra 245K. There is 14 cores, 6 performance and 8 efficient cores, and 14 threads for the CPU. For the AMD motherboard, we're going to be using this ASUS Tough Gaming B650 Plus Wi-Fi with the 9600X CPU, which comes with 6 cores and 12 threads. And there it is, the Cooler Master CPU cooler. This is a 6-pipe cooler with an intake 120mm fan and an exhaust 120mm fan. Both fans do have their own cables. Good news is this kit does come with a 2-to-1 adapter that goes directly to the motherboard. Now that we have some insight on the cooler itself, let's go ahead and disassemble it. Starting off with this plate right here that does come off. The front intake fan does come off pretty easily. You just have to slide it up. And there you go, the front 120 intake fan. And the same thing for the rear, you just gotta slide it up. It does have these little 2 guys right here that does kind of lock it in with a little bit of pressure. This is the exhaust 120mm fan. Now let's open up the accessories. The accessories kit comes with thermal paste, a 2-to-1 adapter for both the CPU fans, the AMD and Intel brackets. The CPU cooler does support the LGA 1851 and the LGA 1700. And then for the AMD, the AM5 and AM4 are both compatible with the CPU cooler. Now let's install the Intel CPU cooler. We're going to start off with this back plate. One thing I'd like to note with the back plate is you will have to make these adjustments dependent on what LGA Intel CPU you're using. With that being said, we're going to go to the outer clamp because we are using the LGA 1851. Let's go ahead and get this installed to the back of the motherboard. And then we'll go ahead and bring this down, make sure that we're still locked in there. Now it's time to install the standoffs. One thing I would like to note is the standoffs are even with the threading from both ends, so it doesn't matter what end you put on the back plate. We're going to make sure that we're getting this installed in an X, that way we can ensure that it's even on all 4 screws. This corner one is fun. Bracket time. Dependent on what Intel CPU you have, you will be using the inner or the outer. For this LGA 1851, we will be using the outer. You do want to make sure that it's facing inward on both sides, just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and install these screws. And now we can install the thermal paste. I usually go with an X and a dot in the middle. Now it's time to install the cooler. 100% make sure that you take off this warning tag right here. Do not want to install it with that. You'd be surprised. A lot of people bring their PCs into the shop with that still on the cooler. That can be really problematic. With that being said, let's go ahead and get this installed to the CPU. I usually like to make sure that one side I am able to get it going and then start with the other side and then finish the side that I started with at first. Now it's time to install the front intake fan. I recommend bringing this cable out here, sliding it in until you hear a click and the top and the bottom notch are in. And now we're going to install the rear exhaust. Bring out that cable right here. Bring it all the way down until it clicks in. And now you'll have both cables right here. Now it's time for the 2-to-1. Usually the majority of the headers are located on the top of the board, either in this area or this area right here. Ours is located right here for the CPU fan. Just making sure that you don't get confused with the CPU optional header. You want to make sure that you're using the CPU fan. Get this snapped in, and get this connected to the intake and exhaust. And there you go. Last thing we want to do is get the front plate snapped in, and we are good to go. Here at Master PC Builder, we ship to all 50 states. If you're looking for a quick and easy build to get directly to your door, check out masterpcbuilds.com. Now it's time for the AMD install. Good news is AMD is a little bit on the quicker side, so this is good. First thing that you're going to want to do is remove these brackets from the top and bottom. I like to loosen these up and then remove them with a longer screwdriver. Highly recommend keeping these brackets because they can be useful in the future if you're wanting to swap out your CPU cooler. Now it's time for the standoffs. Compared to the Intel standoffs, it's definitely going to matter which side you're going to be using. You're going to want to definitely be using the shorter side. You want to make sure that you're using the adhesive that it comes with, and on the sticky side, you're going to stick it to the shorter end of the standoff, and then you can go ahead and screw it in. Bracket time. Make sure that you're following this exact configuration, getting both sides aimed towards an outwards position. Once you have that, you can go ahead and put these screws to keep them tightened. Thermal paste time. I like to go with an X with a dot in the center. Don't forget to remove the warning label that's usually here on the bottom. I always like to start with one screw, get that going a little bit, and then start with the other. Once you do that, you can kind of go back and forth until you're able to get the sides both tightened. Now let's install the intake fan. Keeping this cable out, go ahead and slide this down until it locks. You should see the bottom and the top lock in. Now bring this cable up. Now it's time to install the exhaust. Bringing the cable out. Let's go ahead and slide this down until it snaps in. Bring this cable up, and we can install the cables to this 2-to-1 that's going to be connected directly to the motherboard. Now, depending on what motherboard you have, the CPU header is usually located here or here. In this case, it's located right here. Just make sure that you're not installing it to the CPU optional header, you're installing it to the CPU fan header. Now the last thing that we need to do is the cover. And there you go. And there it is. We just installed the CPU cooler on this Intel motherboard and the AMD motherboard. If this video was helpful to you, we would appreciate if you liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel. Also, if you're interested in purchasing a computer from us, check out our website at masterpcbuilds.com. My name is Josh. As always, we'll see you on the next one.